big plays.
Tied up, splits the double with 8. She's going to get a shot off. He's got it!
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
We are back with another episode of Stick Talk. We are talking that stick with my boys, Shane and Brian. Shane and Brian, how we doing today, my guys?
Life's good.
Man. Good.
You know, it's funny, Diggs, doing Diggs things, just not pulling up, just like my father. Hey, I'm just
What
fine.
you wait now? You looking out the window an hour before? Oh, I can't make it, bro. I can't make it. I'm sorry.
Yo, Diggs just, listen, I'm over him, right? I'm over him.
Listen, let me just see what the weather's like in San Diego. Let me just see.
You know,
That probably,
Because he hit us with that double book. They say, yeah, he watched him like, I'm going to go off real quick.
yeah.
don't even tell me the
Oh,
weather,
it's-
yo, because it's cold as
It's
hell in New Jersey right
65.
now.
It's 65 right now. It'll be a high of 73 at 2 p.m. So he's living his best life right now.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
It's like 45, 50 out here in New Jersey.
Yuck. And you said it's snowing in Colorado, Brian?
Yeah, but luckily it melted though, so it's like almost 60. But yeah, it's like Colorado. It snowed yesterday, 60 degrees today, and sunny.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, you were saying yesterday, being in a place where you can play men's league lacrosse all year round. I got to say, it's pretty great. It's pretty great to be able. And I brought up golf because it's one of the only other sports that you have to play outside, and so it's got to be really nice outside in order for you to be like, okay, like it's a good time to be like California. The only thing is like Diggs was saying is that it'll rain randomly. In the winter. It doesn't rain any other time of the year besides the winter in California. And it's being anywhere. I'm not a mud person. I don't like to go and play lacrosse in the rain, especially if there's grass, especially as a grown man.
Yep.
I don't care. I love lacrosse. I'm not playing lacrosse in the rain in the grass. Sorry. Not happening. Those days are over.
I feel you 1000%.
I mean, I'd play in whatever weather because I'm just built like that. So
That's crazy. When's the last men's league you played?
last time I played men's league, I was in Philadelphia. Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I'd play whenever. When's the last time you played? A couple months ago? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Whatever. I'm too busy doing other things because I'm coaching. So I don't have time to play. I just have time to teach kids how to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. But we haven't been on in a minute. Let's get back into some action here. We got new news here. Pat Kavanagh was traded from the Cannon to the Outlaws for the 3rd overall draft pick and a 2nd rounder in the 2026 draft. Big deal here, right? Last year we were like, oh, Pat finally gets to play with his brother on the Cannons. Pat's going to be such a difference maker for the Cannons. Gone. Gone. Now, what do you guys think about this trade?
Shane, I feel like Shane has more thought. I feel like you have more thoughts than I do, so I'll let you go.
Yeah. When we posted this video this week, I think Micah Moore said that it would be, maybe not Micah, I think someone else posted a comment saying that they should have gone to the Waterdogs, or he should have been traded to the Waterdogs. And I was like, the Waterdogs need someone like Pat Kavanagh for sure. But I mean, they had the whole offseason. They had the offseason to make those trades, and they didn't offer anything, right? So it is what it is. I think this is an excellent setup for the Outlaws to become true contenders, championship contenders in the next 2 years. I think with another year under Brennan O'Neill's belt, with the leadership of Eric Law, and you have someone else in Pat Kavanagh who is extremely dynamic at both the attack side and the midfield side. I think you're really setting yourself up for a lot of success there, because Pat Kavanagh is a playmaker. He's not just a a great attackman or a great mid. He's an excellent lacrosse player, and he can make plays, and he's very quick, very quick-witted, quick to make a nice little move up and under, whatever. He can do whatever. So I think, with the pieces that the Outlaws have in Brendan O'Neill, who is also a playmaker, but essentially is like the biggest decoy of all decoys on that team. You leave a player like Graham Bundy out there, he's going to get a couple outside shots. He's going to be able to sting a couple corners. You get Eric Law at X. That's a different situation. Now the question is, who do you keep PCAV at the midfield line, or do you substitute Cross Ferreira for that person, for Pat to play on that right side? I personally think Cross could probably play a little bit of midfield. I think they need a little bit of they can get a little bit of speed on the attack side with Pat Kavanagh. Pat Kavanagh is an unbelievable athlete, and I think he just brings a different dynamic to that attack line. So I think it's an excellent pickup, especially because I don't know who that third round draft pick would be right now. Off the top of my head, I'm not seeing anybody who's graduating anytime soon that would be like, oh, okay, like a third round pick in this draft is going to be like a major piece for them. Now, there's still the third round, but
pick, right?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Third overall. Sorry. Yeah. Third overall pick. I don't know who it could be, but the fact that I'm kind of blanking on who that third might be right now is like, I think it's a worthy trade. I mean, you have somebody is good, you can build for the next 2-3 years, and you're picking up a third overall. I'm like, I think it might be good.
Yeah, I think third overall is a big give.
I mean,
let's talk about that. So with draft picks, you never know what you're gonna get. Okay, and who knows? This could be great or this could be bad. But the third overall pick, and I think for the Cannons, they're going to pick up a Pole who's probably going to do something great for them. I think it's going to be your dude, actually, Brian, Brendan Lavelle from Penn.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a third pick. I don't think this is like a unfair trade. I don't think it's like a not balanced at all. I think it's a pretty good deal for both of them. But I could see this. I could see this working out more for the Cannons, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I could definitely see it work. The Cannons offense was great, but it's like was Pat Kavanagh the catalyst for their offense?
Nope.
No, it was Marcus Holman and Asher Nolting doing their thing. And Pat was like the cool weapon to have just in case emergency, but that's not what they were lacking. They're looking for another defender. So I think this might be a little more beneficial for the Cannons immediately. But if we look in long term, and let's say Brennan and Pat, we know how great they are as players. If they start meshing sooner or later, that's a force to reckon with too. But I don't know how they're going to play together. Who knows? Just because you put two great players together doesn't mean they're going to play well.
Right.
We saw this when Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony played together.
Yeah. Okay.
Or even you could say Lyle when Lyle and Asher played that season, because it took Asher a little bit to getting used to playing off ball a little bit more. Because I agree with everything that Shane said, and even what you just said, Scotty. I could see it working immediately, a little bit maybe more so for Boston, because for lacrosse fans that are newer are getting a taste of the pro lacrosse-ness of that trade. And what I mean by that is it becomes so many attackmen that you have, and then you try to run them out of the box and they can't. And then you were just like, what am I going to do? I'm going to trade the third pick. And people are like, it's the third pick. But for the Cannon, it's like MVP candidate Marcus Holman, MVP candidate Asher Nolting, we don't necessarily need another superstar playing in our slotting in our third attack spot. Then you trade him to Denver, then it's like he still may not even still end up playing attack at Denver. But that is it's because we can try to do something. To Shane's point, maybe we just have this young core in Boston. Yeah, we could either maybe we get it to Poll, maybe we use that third pick possibly to get pick up a Fogo or something. But that's very much just the pro lacrosseness of it, where you can't necessarily look at the names. You just got to look at what their position is and what they're doing in terms of everybody else. Because again, you have two MVP candidates on your tag line. You don't necessarily need a third, and he's not an it. Shane might get mad at me a little bit. I don't think you run him out of the box. I think you're doing him a disservice. I don't like long term. You can't do not that he
talking about PCAV.
Yeah, I think you're. If that's his main thing. Yeah. So I get why they make the trade. So it's just gonna be interesting to see because I can see the Outlaws running Cross, but it was the same thing with Cross though because Cross ran out of the box a little bit at the beginning of the season and he wasn't that effective. So it's like, but it's a good problem to have, I guess.
Yeah, I just want to say that the thing you brought up that I 100% agree with, and this is why I think this is a great trade for. I think it's a balanced trade, but I think the Outlaws win this one mostly because, like what you said, the third overall pick that they have to pick up. Obviously you're not gonna just not have a playmaker if that is like. On the mock draft, like you have a great third option and he's lining it up for you. The thing about it is they can't get someone that is going to you almost need to draft a role player. You need somebody whose job it is to make plays for other people, for Asher Nolting, for Marcus Holman, for that midfield core at the Boston Cannons, because I don't think you necessarily need another guy who's going to be, hopped up on production per se. And I don't think that's it's unfair to say. I think that with that Boston Cannons offense, like I think a defender would be a great pickup for them. 100%, because I think that's where they could probably see a little bit more success. A younger defense for that Boston Cannons, but I don't think you pick up anybody on offense because you already have a lot of those players ready locked in. So I think like in terms of opportunity, the reason why I say the Cannons or the Outlaws win this trade is because the Denver Outlaws defense is solid. Could it be a little bit better, maybe a little bit stronger at the goalie position? Yes. But defensively, I think they're solid. Midfield, offense, attack. If we can get Pat Kavanagh and Brennan O'Neill synced up, locked in with each other, I think that's a scary attack line in general. Scary.
Okay. Hold up. Real quick, though. We can't forget about this. This is how pro lacrosse makes us forget everything so fast, right? So the other day, TLM posted this on their feed, and it was a picture of the Outlaws' potential offense, right? They got Cross Ferrara, Pat Kavanagh, Brennan O'Neill, Eric Law, Graham Bundy, and Justin Anderson. Bro, we are forgetting about the man.
Logan Wiskowski.
Well,
the other tours out there, so they have the last 3 Tuarton winners. Is like that's crazy.
And he's not even on this graphic. Like, let's not forget. Like, Wiz is an all-star. Like, how is he not in that graphic? Right? I know. Brennan took his spot and didn't look back, but we can't exclude this man, Logan, already.
I think we can.
You're bugging, dude. You're bugging.
I think we can. Tell me what game the Outlaws played where you watched this game and you said, man, if only we had Logan Wisnowskis on the field.
When the Outlaws fans immediately are going to say when they played the Atlas and they scored like 3 goals. They needed anything they needed all the help they could get.
Yeah. Okay.
More than I'd like to the Logan Wisnauskas would have helped him out, man. Logan Wisnauskas is not the worst offensive player on that team.
I wouldn't say that either at all.
So I'm saying if he was on that lineup or on that line somewhere, there's a benefit.
Yeah, because for all those games when their offense disappeared, he definitely would have helped.
Hold up. Who would you rather have, Wiz or Cross Ferrara?
Wiz.
I would rather have Wiz than Cross, but
Wiz.
Cross
is everybody from Maryland. You heard me say Logan Wisnauskas, just so you know.
Yeah.
For everybody that hate Maryland.
I would say the reason why I would agree with that is because Cross is a true, even though he had that one game overtime winner, shouts out to him, shouts out D3 with Cross. I will say that Cross is a true role player on that team. He could get a bucket. He could get a bucket or two, no question. I mean, he's a great lacrosse player. That doesn't change. But on that team, he is a role player. I don't know that you can't have all three people looking to be the guy, the primary ball handler. You can't have all three attackmen looking to be the primary ball handler. It just it can't work, right? There's only one ball. So you need somebody to help facilitate, move the rock around through, get it 100% around the goal. I don't think with Wisnauskas you have that opportunity. Wisnauskas at Maryland was a catch and shoot kind of guy. Maryland had a lot, and I mean a lot of offensive firepower at the midfield line, and that allowed for Wisnauskas to get a lot of free shots. If we go back and we look at the 2022 Maryland Terrapins offense, you will see more often than not, Logan Wisnauskas is getting wide open looks off of a slide that didn't come. And I watched pretty much all Maryland games that season. I watched the Final Four. Most of his shots are pretty uncontested. They are pretty uncontested. He is taking a shot with somebody coming towards him off of a slide that they get him wide open. Now, is he able to finish? Of course, there's no doubt about that, clearly. However, I don't see Logan Wisnauskas as a you can't have multiple guys whose job it is to be the primary ball handler on the offensive side. So Cross Ferrara needs to remain in that.
That's up to their coach, though.
But we're talking about schematically.
To buy into the system, who knows? We're talking about one of the best players of all time, and Paul Rabel was able to switch his role.
Yeah.
Okay,
right?
but that's Paul Rabel.
Yes, but what I'm saying, it's even crazier for him to switch his role from being the dominant ball carrier to the off-ball player, right? And if he can do that, I think a lot of players can also do it. And I'm not excluding Wiz from being like, there's no way he can shift the way he plays.
Yeah, he can shift the way he plays, but will he?
I think that's the better question is, will he? I think he's capable of, but
for sure.
He would, because he's a coach now. He absolutely would.
So let's talk about before we move on past Wisnauskas, let's talk about his stats a little bit. He had a 24 to 35 point year, the year he left Maryland, okay, with the Chrome. And then that number dropped in half last year, not this year, that 2023, to 18 points and 11 goals. His production was declining because it's a different the game starts to change a little bit more. Now, obviously, this last year doesn't count for him because he's been injured for most of it. But
they were awful those 2 years ago, though. So I don't think that's anything on him.
No, it isn't anything.
He was kicking up in the beginning of the year.
What I'm saying is that he's for the type of player that they need in that spot, they need someone that is a little bit more dynamic. And I think Pat Kavanagh is way more dynamic than Logan Wisnauskas. 100%. 100%. No question about that. And I also think that the reason he's not on that list is because he's remained injured all summer long. It'll be interesting to see if he just can come back, no problem, this next coming year, and whether or not that his game and his play style is truly going to fit that where the Outlaws are going in the next couple of years to really set themselves up.
Well, we'll see. I guess only time will tell with Wiz making his comeback. We'll see. But speaking of somebody coming back, Kieran McArdle signed back with the Philadelphia Waterdogs. All right.
Segway King.
That guy, I saw today on a comment, somebody said one of the most underrated players in the league, right?
Which he's not. He's not.
I don't know if he's necessarily one of the most underrated because he is an all-star.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kieran McArdle is not underrated. But I agree with Brian saying it was underappreciated, no doubt. Yeah. But he's not underrated. If you watched any Waterdogs games this year, you know that man is him. He's him.
Over the last 3 or 4 years, yeah.
If you give him a ball, if you pass him that ball within 5 yards of the crease, that is an automatic goal.
Him and Mikey Sowers are one of the most lethal combinations in the league.
Absolutely.
Easily. Couldn't agree more.
And the thing with what makes me most excited about their signing is, like I said in the video, the whole season, I think a lot of people were thinking that this was going to be Kieran's last year, then he was going to retire. So a lot of the Waterdogs issues are what we were talking about with the Outlaws, with how they do stuff. And Kieran McArdle is that perfect example of a player that ball dominate, attack from X, that as he gets older, he can be like, all right, I can play off ball, let Mikey do it. And now leads me to that crazy theory I was thinking about. Are we 100% sure? It's not, I don't think it's crazy, but are we 100% sure that the Waterdogs used that first pick on CJ Kirst after re-signing Kieran McArdle?
What
do you guys think? I'll give you my reasoning.
I'm pretty locked in though. It's like when you have the first pick, especially when you have the first pick, I think you always go with the best player, who you think is the best player, not necessarily maybe your best fit, but I think
the position, the need, and all that. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Shay?
I don't know if I 100% agree with that. I don't know if I 100% agree with that. Last year's draft, right? Like, I think the reason why, I mean, Brendan O'Neill was best overall, no question. So obviously he did go first, but I think easily probably could have, like, in terms of fit, Connor Schellenberger was a better fit than anyone else for the Atlas. Mm-hmm. So I think there's some element of both. I think first overall, like, I can totally see where you're coming from. You pick the best player and you just kind of figure it out after that. But I think you probably, who was the third overall pick this last year? It wasn't PCAV. It was a poll, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why am I blanking? Let me see.
It wasn't Jake. No, he went to the Chaos. No, it wasn't Chaos, was it?
It was Ajax.
Ajax. It was a poll. So, I mean, in terms of fit, let's see. Did they need Ajax? Could they have gotten Ajax on the Atlas? Maybe. But in terms of fit, the better fit was Connor Schellenberger in that scenario.
For the Atlas, you're saying Connor Schellenberger. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But with the first pick, though, do you think you always go for the best fit or the best player? Because I think we all know, like, we're talking about the Outlaws offense and how they kind of, like, let's say Wiz was playing last year too, and Shelly was there. He would be the facilitator for that offense, right? Mm-hmm. But was he the best player in last year's draft? Hence why he was drafted first. And now they kind of molded their offense around Brennan.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. You know what? Actually, I'm going to look at this stat side by side of Brendan O'Neill and Connor Schellenberger in that last year.
And while Shane does that, like, because I'm bringing that up with them re-signing Kieran, because I think that shifts what the Waterdogs would want to do. Do I think they're going to draft CJ Kirst first? Yes. I'm saying, will they? Because it's the same issues that we just talked about with the Outlaws. So I don't think the Waterdogs were a CJ Kirst away from being competitive and not being the first pick and being in the playoffs and possibly winning a championship. Because I'm looking at their attack line now. It's Mikey and Kieran. We unequivocally. The other player that, again, just like with Pat Kavanagh, Matt Brandow, who everybody forgot about. If Yale makes the playoffs last year, he probably wins the Taurus on because I think because offensively he might have been the best player in the country the entire year. Just Yale just didn't do what they were supposed to do and they weren't good. And just like Pat Kavanaugh, you have a Tewaaraton finalist, even though Pat won it, you have a Tewaaraton finalist that was playing out of position and ran him out of the box. And there was times where like Matt Brenda looked lost and they're doing him a disservice because he's running out of the box, but they're gonna have to shift into attack. We also have Ethan Walker, who a couple years ago putting up 20 plus point seasons. That same thing we were just talking about again with the Outlaws of having somebody that doesn't have to be an all-star, doesn't have to be a superstar player, but fits his role, that Xander Dixon type thing. And Ethan Walker was that before them. And then they started shifting everything around. And then once you shift everything around and it's not working, it's Ethan Walker is playing poorly. Matt Brandow doesn't hit the ground running and is playing poorly. And then now we're going to add in possibly CJ Kirst. And it's like that's not necessarily your issue because you have this like you're figuring out your offense and how to run your midfield, but you're just going to put another attackman for sake of an attackman. Because that's like the thing I don't understand. I get when we talk about best player, but lacrosse is so small. Whereas like we can't have like that basketball football thing where it's like you just take the best quarterback available and figure it out. Like I don't think CJ Kirst shifts the needle for them next year when they have other issues in other places. So I was just saying that just. I can see them obviously again drafting CJ Kirst, but with them re-signing Kieran, I wouldn't be surprised if we're just like, all right, cool, we're gonna trade the first pick and get players that can help us, and then also just get a couple of picks in the past. And I think they're a couple. I think they're more than a CJ Kirst away from being competitive again. So that's just my reasoning behind it when I was saying I feel like something could be cooking, and I can see Tierney absolutely being the person to be like, you know what? I don't care what y'all say. Remember, this is the same dude that was like 2 pointers don't matter.
The same dude that didn't have a FOGO for the beginning of the year.
Exactly. Bill Tierney does not care. Like
Uh-huh.
he's not worried about what any of us are saying. So I can see him being the one that's just like, yeah, CJ Kerr's great, but I'm gonna just trade a couple players, figure out the attack that we have, and get a couple players here and there, and then get back into the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I understand what you're saying though, definitely, because I'm looking at their roster right now. I'm like, oh well, you could definitely move one of their middies down to attack also, and their defense isn't the strongest defense at all. So I could see them doing something, but that would be crazy if they do not pick up CJ Kirst. That would be
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would be. And I don't. I'm not saying that it's not, and people will probably take that me saying that as a hot take. But I'm just thinking long term in this lacrosse, man. Like you didn't draft CJ Kirst first. So let's say at worst they don't draft CJ Kirst, they make these other moves and they're terrible, and they get the first pick in the draft the following season for 2026. All right, cool. We don't draft CJ Kirst. Joey Spallina is going to be the first pick in the draft in 2026. So I'm like, it's not like a thing where it's like this insane talent yet.
Come on, son.
We gonna do
Already? Yeah, we're talking this far in advance already. This is where we're going with this.
I mean,
are you calling
I
it?
don't know another.
Are you calling it 2 years? Listen.
Joey Spallina will be the first pick in the 2026 PLL draft and in the 2026 NLL draft. He will be the first pick in both. 100%. Period. Clip it. Send it to the internet.
I love that.
I don't.
If you,
what do you got to say, Shane? What do you got to say, Shane?
If you get that,
I agree because I can't think of a single person graduating in 2026 other than Joey Spallina. I can't think of a single other name that we've all spoken about graduating in 2026 that could rival Joey Spallina. I think that's an objectively good take. I think it's an objectively good take.
Me being a Syracuse fan aside, the dude just had like a 90-point season on a team that lost in the quarterfinals as a sophomore. Like we just think he's going to be terrible.
He's great. He's an excellent lacrosse player.
With the entire offense returning in the next 2 years, like we just think he's going to decline somehow.
Yeah, I like the NLL part is a shoo-in. There's no question. He's an NLL first overall pick, no question. But potentially some people could emerge, but I don't think they'll emerge past Joey Spallina for 2026.
No, I just think it's like an early call. Like I'm
Yeah.
not, but if I was to put money on one player right now, it probably would be Joey Spallina. But this is like
Yeah.
saying something 2 years in advance when you know how dynamic the lacrosse world is. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Could
It's
see
a hundred
something.
percent a lot. And I'm not saying it to be wild, but I'm just saying it because it's that people we're trying to make lacrosse just like how it would be in football, where every year we're going to say whoever the top quarterback is, it's going to be a quarterback every year. Where I'm like, lacrosse doesn't work like that. You're not what team in the PLL is an attackman away from winning a championship? Where you're like, you know what they needed? An attackman. And whoever's the best attackman, this is who we're going to draft number one. Because I'm like, it's still too small. Like
Yeah.
again, I don't think that I'm not saying that he's not going to go on. I'd be shocked if he didn't. But I can see them re-signing Kieran being like setting the ball in motion for them to worry about other things first, and then maybe potentially trading that. Because maybe they keep the pick and they don't draft CJ Curse. I don't see that happening. But also, I can see them trading it.
Yeah, I think using that trade as an asset will be the smartest thing you can do
Yeah.
and see what you can get with it.
Mm-hmm.
But good for Kieran for re-signing. Some people haven't re-signed yet. We got some free agents now. We're gonna go
Segue.
over we're gonna go over two teams right now who have free agents. Okay, we're gonna go over the Redwoods. We're gonna go over the Waterdogs. Okay, so Redwoods, the current free agents right now. Okay, I want you to tell me who do you bring back. I see Shane already.
Shane A. Smith is coming, man.
He's
I'm just
sweating
gonna
already.
I'm gonna laugh a lot. Shane A. Smith is coming.
All right. All right. So the Redwoods, all their free agents are Romar Dennis, BJ Ferrari, Ryan Lee, Nakai Montgomery, Rob Pennell, Kevin Rogers, and Ryan Tierney. Which and who are you bringing back?
Do you want me since Shane, since you and Scotty are more emotionally invested, should I just give my guys
You
first?
go first. Go first.
Romar absolutely comes back. He was your most dominant midfielder for the season. Um, I want Nakai to come back, but it's the only thing is my like of him as a person aside, we still as Redwoods have not figured out exactly how to use him. So I'm like, I'm kind of with the if you love something, set it free, and not re-signing Nakai because I'm like, what are y'all gonna like? You got to do something with him. So I'll say Romar 100%. Who were the other? Romar,
It's
Nakai, Kevin
Romar,
Rogers. I don't think they're gonna re-sign Kevin Rogers.
BJ Ferrari, Ryan Lee, and Ryan
Ryan
Tierney.
Lee. See, Ryan Lee's the thing where he's like, it's like when old heads talk about like Bo Jackson on things he did 5 years ago, or like when I was there when he threw a football quarter mile, like he hasn't like Ryan Lee hasn't played in so long. A point comes where it's like we got to have a player that's going to stay. So I don't think they re-sign Ryan Lee, who's great when he plays, but we're 3-4 years from him playing. BJ Farrar, I think he re-signed as well because I think he in the limited time that he did play, I think he played well. And if nothing else, he's somebody that you know that can come in, play 3-4 games in the season, and be solid on defense. But that's enough for me. I want to hear the Redwoods fans.
The two people I'm signing back are Romar Dennis. He had like statistically his best year this year. And I don't even think he didn't even suit up for every game. And he was one of our best players, right? Even though we're still like, come on, bro, you could do better than that, right? We still want more from him. And I actually would sign back Nakai
Mhm.
with putting the relationship aside. The reason why I would sign back Nakai is because he is, I think he found his spot at that D mid position, being a transition midi who could stay on for a little bit
Well,
longer.
so you would you do that? Just not have him as an offensive midfielder, have him as an offensive midfielder, just have him play D mid, and when he can play, just stay on. Or
Yeah.
okay,
I'd have him go on when we're on defense, and then if we're in transition and he gets caught up there, I'm perfectly comfortable with that. Right? Do I think he's one of the best offensive midfielders in the league? No. But I do think he's athletic enough and I think he's talented enough to stay on the field.
I agree.
Um, but I know I am giving this man a farewell tour. I'm gonna get put up a 5 minute highlight tape of how great he was in his career. I'm not signing back Ropping out.
Hell no.
I'm not. It's just not.
If people are gonna come at us, I say it because if you go back, we were consistent through the season. Did he have a individually statistically a great season? Yes, but it's at the expense of the rest of the team, and you have young players that are just completely lost. And Garrett Degnaw gets nothing because I got to get my touches. I have to get 40, 50 touches. And I'm going to the cage. And at this point in his career, you're hurting the rest of the team. That's why I say not to resign him because people are like, well, I'm saying it just to say it. No, that's my reasoning behind it.
We need some rejuvenation on that offense.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that's it. Now I know Shane's about to pop off.
I feel like he's gonna like bring up a PowerPoint. He doesn't even wear glasses, but he's gonna put some glasses on.
I do have glasses already. Yeah, we going Rob, Mr. Pinnell.
Thank you for your service.
It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. Appreciate you, partner, but I gotta show you the door. Okay, that's first person. You gotta go. I think I'm gonna say something. Romar Dennis, while I would love to keep him, I as a fan of the person, I don't think he's going to be as successful on the California Redwoods as he would somewhere else.
Oh.
Do I think I think he would be dramatically more successful on a completely different team with completely different culture and energy? I see that wholeheartedly. Nakai, they need to figure out what they're going to do with him, exactly how they're going to utilize him, what kind of player is he going to be. I feel as though a lot of his game this year is been trying to transition from a guy who was getting a lot of the touches. He was the go-to midfielder at Duke to now playing kind of a role position at with the Redwoods, where he's coming in as, you know, a two-way midi, but also it's primarily, it seems, a defensive midi that can play offense. And I think he needs to be in a position where he can play offense and be like a true, like be able to get those touches and be able to get those opportunities and those looks. I think that they need to utilize him differently, better than they did this last year. But everyone else, basically, see you, partner. Hey, clean house. I think the only person on that list that I think should stick around and should be able to build a team around is Nakai Montgomery. Romar Dennis, I love his game. I have no problems with his game, how he's played, all of that. I just don't think we're seeing the maximum potential for him at with the Redwoods. I think we would see a very different Romar Dennis if he was on a team like perhaps the Chaos.
He would no, dude. What are you talking about, bro? No, absolutely not on the Chaos.
Why were the Chaos not good this year?
The same reason the Redwoods weren't good. They had no offense.
Specifically in that offense. We kept talking about this all year.
What were we saying?
You need a good dodging midfield. You need it. The Chaos need
dude.
That.
Shane Knobloch is one of the best offensive dodgers, midfielding.
I don't want to hear your Rutgers propaganda.
Listen, okay? Shane Knobloch is one of the best middies that can dodge.
Propaganda.
What do we mean?
No, I'm not disagreeing that Shane Knobloch is him. I am just saying that imagine Shane Knobloch with his specific dodging ability and Romar Dennis. I think that those two would do well. All I am saying is I've seen Romar. Romar was like what it was last year, was 2024 and then 2023, right? And then 2022 he was with the Atlas, and they did the little trade with Miles Jones, right?
That was last year.
If I'm missing, yes,
2023.
So, but like mid-season 2023, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. So,
Yeah.
I think that Romar I love Romar's game. I love how he plays. I don't think he's being completely utilized in a good system offense
There
with the
are so
California
many
Red Bulls.
players that fall into that same category.
Agreed. And Romar is on that list. He is whatever list you have, he's top 5 on that list.
I would put a lot of the Redwoods offense in that category.
I think Westberg could stick around. I think
you absolutely keep Westberg. Keep what we're talking about.
No, you keep Westberg, but I'm saying like people's offensive performance would improve if they were on different teams.
Okay, name one.
I think Westberg was one of them.
Yeah, but I don't think Westberg's performance would change that much if he was on a different team. I think Westberg's performance might change if he had 2 other different offensive players. I don't think Westberg's Westberg's ability is completely synced up with Ryder Garnsey. Even though he'll get a couple of passes and a good assist opportunities from Ryder Garnsey, they just come. Ryder is a little too free flowing for a player like Westberg. You need someone who can move the ball like. I'm not going to say that. I was going to say Jeff T, but that goes for Jeff T could do anything with anybody if he wanted to. Let me think. I think Westberg would probably be just somebody who is like Westberg would be an excellent opportunity with someone like Eric Law. I think Westberg would eat with someone like Eric Law. Ryder Garnsey, playmaker, no fear. He's going to do what he wants to do. Chris Gray, didn't see him that much. I wish I saw him a lot more this season. Didn't see him that much. That's fine.
Not about that.
Rob Pennell was leading that team in touches. Leading the team in touches. And his performance wasn't amazing. I wasn't like hold on, let me go to his bio, his stats here, because I saw something and I was like, oh, that's not amazing. 1.7 goals a game off of almost 40 touches. The ball rotates through him all the time. 1.6 assists for that many touches. And by the way, that's only because his touches, it's not higher. That number is not higher because he had the first 2 games were like 19 and 13. Towards the end of the season, he was getting 40 to 50 touches a game and still not being able to assist the ball that much and still not being able to make the production that he needs to. Now, looking at this, I think that Westberg would be a great opportunity with someone else who's a little bit more even like Cross Ferreira would be a fantastic player with Westberg because Cross Ferreira knows his role. But you can't have a team where you have a bunch of guys who are all individually amazing that don't know their role. Look at how many times have we seen it, even in basketball, you had like Kevin Durant and like all these other players, or theoretically the Brooklyn Nets should have been fantastic a year ago, 2 years ago, with all the firepower that they had on that team, and they suck because everybody wants the ball and they all expect to be playmakers and nobody wants to be a role player. That's the problem.
Yeah, but that's what we were talking about earlier about just because you have 2 big names right next to each other doesn't mean they're going to be good.
Yep, exactly. So get rid of everybody, leave Nakai. I guess we could keep Romar until you find him a better place.
All right.
But
all right.
Yeah.
We got to move on. Let's talk about the Waterdogs now. Waterdogs free agents are Matt DeLuca, Matt Witcher, or how do you say that? Witcher?
Witcher.
Matt Witcher. Let me redo that. Matt DeLuca, Matt Witcher, Jake Richard, Connor Kelly, and Alex Stefakis. Damn, Scotty's having a hard ass time.
Oh.
Now, Stefakis didn't have a solid.
Is his name Stefakis or Stathakis?
However you want to say it. Tomato, bro. I do not listen.
I mean, you say okay, Scoot.
Right. What are dog fans?
Yo, what's good with you, Shane? You got a problem right now?
I'm just saying, get this man's name right. Yeah, you over here.
What is
Like,
it? Is it
I think it's
Stathicus?
Stathicus. I think it's Stathicus.
What is that, Greek?
I think so. Yes.
Oh, good for me. Um, you know what? Just for that, I'm cutting him.
They don't have a
First
face-off
of all,
person
I
then.
can't pronounce your name. You're out.
Yeah, but we saw it even with the Fogo. It didn't really improve their performance. So, like what? Yo, they were getting cooked by Zach Tucci. When was the last time we heard about Zach Tucci this year? Exactly. All right. So let's move on.
All right. All right.
Now,
That's a good point there. You got a
Uh-huh.
good one. You got a
right
good one.
now, I also think I don't think they have any urgency to re-sign Matt DeLuca, which is tough because they also have Dylan Ward. Right? We're talking about two of the best goalies in the league who definitely could be two of the best goalies in the league. Matt DeLuca is better than some of the starting goalies in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly can go somewhere else and play immediately. Um, I'm keeping Jake Richard.
Who is he better than?
Huh?
Who's he better than?
All right.
He plays in California.
Yeah.
I just want to hear you
That's
say
an
it.
easy one. Yeah, we might need to pick him up, to be honest,
Uh,
because
uh,
And in the city where
yeah.
they have high elevation, he's better than both of their goalies as well.
your boy. That's your boy, Shane.
Yeah, my boy. Shouts out to my dog.
But
Yo, the only person that I would think about out of all of the names that you mentioned, I'd re-sign all of them. The only one, do you re-sign Connor Kelly?
okay. Connor Kelly had a tough year this year, right?
Yeah, because that's their issue, their midfield. So it's just like, do we clean house and we're gonna redo our midfield room? Because he's a big part of it. Whether you do, because I think some of the things, their issues are the same because we know what he can do, but when he's not doing it, their midfield was not good this year. With 15 points this season. Then you think of him as being like a shooter for 2-pointers. He had 1 2-pointer for the season.
Yep, that's usually what we'd like to think of him as. I mean, he had a tough one this year. Had
Shot
less,
percentage was 0%. The 3 games, 0% shot percentage because he did. That's crazy for him.
yeah, points have been decreasing for him.
Yeah.
2022, he had 26, 23, he had 17, and last year he had 15. So, is it a him thing? Is it a Waterdogs thing? I understand why you're saying what you're saying,
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know.
but it's definitely like, oh, if you don't re-sign him, I'm sure somebody else would pick him up in a second.
Right. Because he's too good of a shooter, not so because everybody's gonna like Romar. Because I don't think he doesn't scare you. I mean, he hits the cage more, so I don't want to say that he doesn't scare you. So that's not the right. I'm wording that wrong. He's in that Romar vein where guys that get labeled 2-point shooters, that because he can do it, there's always gonna be a coach that's like, yeah, we can use that. And then last year, Romar was Romar had a better 2-point season than him last year, but the couple of years prior, Connor Kelly did. So I think there's always gonna be a coach that's just like, all right, we know what he can do, so I'm gonna stick him. But he gets put in that Romar box though too. When you're not, if he's not scoring 2-pointers, what are we gonna use him for?
What do you think, Shane? It was quietest I've ever seen you.
Partially because I just think like the Waterdogs season was a joke last year, so it's kind of funny to watch them to think about anybody remaining on that team that should be there.
That's true. That's true.
like everybody had moments last year where they just and it wasn't, you know, like I have my own thoughts about this, but Connor Kelly, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, okay, so are we still talking about? Give me the list again for Water Dogs that are
You gonna make
on
me
the
say all those
rotation.
names again?
Yes. I want to hear you pronounce every single one of them.
Matt DeLuca, Matt Wichter,
Witcher.
Jake Richard, Connor Kelly, and Alex Stathakis.
There you go.
Why'd you say Jake Richard with an accent? Like he's like,
Yo,
like
I
he's
remember
French
one
or
time I
something.
was doing it with Jordan, and he kept on saying it Richard, and I was like, "Is this dude French?" But
Oh yeah, because it's like those watches, like the Richard Mill watches. You and then like if you broke, you say Richard Mill. Like yeah,
I'm like, okay,
Richard, the Swiss pronunciation, Richard.
Richard, right?
Mm,
It's
Maybe
like,
he's Swiss or
my
something.
name's
All right.
Samaj. It's like, bro, you just spelled James backwards.
I can't stand y'all, bro. I honestly can't stand y'all.
Yo,
Yeah. I mean, the more that I look at this list, I'm just like, I wasn't like overly impressed with anybody. I still think that Michael Sowers maybe has another year left in the league before he has to medically retire.
And why you put that energy out for him, man?
It's his own energy. I told you this. It's not that
I know.
it's not that his play style does not allow for a long life in the
yo,
league.
he's talking about Michael Sowers.
Yeah.
I can't with you, bro.
I love Michael Sowers. I love him. I love his game. I like him. I just don't think the way he plays will allow for him to remain in the league for a long term.
See,
He's like the spokesperson for the Q collar. He's like the guy. When I think of the Q collar, I think of Michael Sowers and then only a little bit Brennan O'Neill. And Brennan O'Neill's got that on most.
I made a video for it, so give me my respect. Give me my flowers.
And Scott Royster.
Thank you, dog.
Okay. When Brennan O'Neill has the Q collar, it's because he might hurt himself by somebody trying to hit him and him lowering his shoulder. That's why he might get hurt. When Michael Sowers wears a Q collar, it's because somebody is coming to take his head off. You cannot be 5'9" in the league as fast as you are amongst the trees that are defenders in the PLL and expect that he will keep 100% of his health. I guarantee you. I literally last year we did a little pick 'em with it was the Waterdogs or the Cannons. And you know why I picked the Cannons? It's because I knew within the first 10 minutes something was going to happen to Michael Sowers. That's why. It's not because I believed in the Cannons. It's because I believed that Michael Sowers would play in a way that would allow him to get hurt. I knew it.
What
and
are you talking about? Are you talking about
Champ Series last year?
Right,
yes,
dude, irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant because it's still lacrosse. He's still playing. He still gets hit. It's not irrelevant. Okay,
he got hit by a dude that doesn't even play in the league.
I don't understand how that invalidates my
point. With the sole intention of hitting him.
Oh yeah, and defenders don't have that intention in the PLL Summer League.
Late hit.
Oh, okay. 100% of the late hits that happen in the PLL are an accident. Okay.
No, they're not, bro. These are calculated hits.
Really? Oh,
listen, man,
surprising.
Listen, I love your headphones because they cancel you out when you talk loud.
I know. I'm about to start getting loud. It just blocks me out.
But you saying that Michael Sowers is going to medically redshirt in about 2 years is wild.
Hey, I need my money. I need at least $5 from everybody if that happens. $5. Okay.
That's crazy.
Oh, but Matt Witcher also is, yes, he's getting resigned because he's their best defensive midfielder.
Okay.
Yeah, keep Connor Kelly. Let everybody else go. Maybe Jack Hanna could stay. Maybe.
Damn.
Zach.
Well, we could move on to the next thing. I think we've been on for a minute. We've been on for like 50 minutes now already. So I think I'm going to just do one of these extra topics that we do. Do you guys want to do the college lacrosse teams to watch, or do you guys want to do D3 versus D2?
We can do both. We just pick one, or we can just pick one team for the teams to watch, or just pick one team and then go deeper into the D2, D3.
All right, yeah. Let's pick one college lacrosse team to watch. You know what's funny about this is I feel like we're all gonna have our um teams, but I'll start it off with you, Brian. Who's your college lacrosse team to watch this year?
The soon-to-be two-time national champion, Syracuse University Orange.
Like Raven Baxter, like think you just know the future like today.
2025,
He said
2026 national
Raven
champions.
Baxter.
That analogy went over my head. I have no idea who that is.
You don't know who Raven Baxter is?
Who is that?
You've never watched That So Raven?
Not really.
Oh,
Hey,
my.
remember I'm a couple years older than you guys, so yeah, that's a Raven.
It was on Disney Channel, bro.
No, I never really watched it.
That's crazy. What did you watch? The Flintstones?
Oh, now I'm sort of like 50. Oh, all right. No, I was thoroughly in my anime Dragon Ball Z era at that point, so no, I didn't watch that.
What were you watching? Were you watching Disney Channel at all growing up?
Yeah, but
What was
yeah,
on Disney Channel?
when the show it was still more animated when I was still watching it because the live action stuff kind of came when I was like getting closer to middle school. So yeah, I never really watched that. So Raven.
I'm mad, but I'm gonna let
That's crazy.
that was a good analogy by me. But
I feel like Diggs is gonna have opinions about this one. I need to hear what he has to say.
about him not watching Disney Channel.
Not watching, not knowing a That's So Raven reference is crazy. That is crazy.
Hey,
We got to put you on game. You got Disney Plus?
Yeah.
All right. We got to put you on game.
Go ahead, Shane. Who's your college lacrosse team to watch?
Ooh, wow. Wonder who. University of Virginia Cavaliers, baby.
Shocking.
We're back on top. It's looking good. I'm excited to see them handle business this year. Now, the only question I have is can Mr. McCabe fill in the shoes of Connor Schellenberger and all of these beautiful, well-equipped ex-attackmen that come out of Virginia in the past? Can he fill in those shoes? Don't know. Hope so. We'll see.
Well, let's also not forget there's another question, right? You guys have one of the most highly touted midfielders who had a rough year last year in Griffin Schutz. Do you think he's going to perform up to his potential finally?
Griffin Shutt is a man amongst boys, so he better.
Really is.
That is so, I mean, there's no reason why he shouldn't. If I'm not mistaken, too, yeah, Charles Balsamo is now a midfielder for Virginia as well, leaving the Duke Blue Devils. So I'm excited for this midfield line. I'm excited for this attack line. If there's anything that I don't ever have to really worry about is the defensive effort on the Virginia defense because of Lars Tiffany. But the only another question I have is about the midfield because Matt's, is that his name? Gosh, what's his last name? The goalie for Virginia from Texas did not have a good year last year at all. Matt Nunes, yeah. Matthew Nunes. Nope. Not a good look. But yeah, they gotta figure it out. But still hopeful.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. I see Virginia making moves this year too. I think McCabe Millen will be fine. And his little brother came this year or no? That's next year.
No, he came, but he got hurt.
Oh, he got hurt.
Yeah, he's redshirting this year.
Oh, shoot. Well, so let's bring it to the lacrosse mecca of the country. I'm talking about Rutgers University. That's who I'm looking forward to see play this year. Listen, I think they're going to improve. You know why I think they're going to improve? Because they have a low bar to improve from. Okay, they went 7-7 last year, and they lost Shane Knobloch and Ross Scott. But one of their best players last year was a freshman, and he's a sophomore now. He's about to pick it up, and they also have an attackman, Dante Kulas, who's going to kick up on that attack line this year. I think my thing about Rutgers last year is you kind of relied way too heavy on Ross Scott and Shane Knobloch. So I think when you start to use all the options you have and have more variety in your offense, it unlocks a whole lot more. So I'm hoping Rutgers takes off this year. Shane's focused. That's how. Here he goes.
Good luck, good luck, Scotty. Syracuse just has the best offensive player in the country, best defensive player in the country, the best offense in the country, top 5 defense in the country. But yeah.
You all right? You think so? You think Syracuse is going to be making it in the Final Four this year?
Joey Spallina is going to win the Tour Time Award. Syracuse University makes the Final Four, wins their first of 2 in a row national championships. Where the only thing is Billy Dewan going to win the Schmeiser Award for best defensive player in the country. They have the best offense in the country. They have the best midfielder in the country. I could go on.
Oh
but
my
for
God,
sake of
dude!
being a
I'm
homer,
not. I can't with you.
there's no debate to be had.
Look, Brian. I think your mic's not working right now, but I'm over you, Shane, completely.
I have to ask sometimes when you bring up Rutgers, is Scotty okay? Is Scotty okay? That's all I want to know.
You don't get it. You don't get it. All my life I had to fight.
All my life.
You don't get it, bro. Rutgers is gonna be back, and I'm gonna keep on wearing this. Okay.
Respect.
Go Knights. Okay. I'm over you, Shane. I'm so over you. Over you. I don't know. I don't got too
I'm gonna
much
hold on to that. I actually got to send that in a group chat. Just make sure that you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, there has to be a
everybody
better
has that.
meme for that. Like, is Scotty okay?
It has to be. Is Scotty okay? That's a genuine question.
All right.
Rutgers, hey, bro. I actually hope Rutgers does well this year. I really do.
Yeah,
I really do.
I'm hoping they do too because that will make me smile a whole lot more. Speaking of Rutgers, they just won yesterday against Minnesota in football. So I'm on cloud 9.
Okay.
We hype right now. How's your football teams doing right now? Because nobody cares about them. Nobody cares. Let's go.
I'm a Michigan fan, and Michigan won a national championship last year, so I'm still riding that high.
They're trash this year.
Yeah, you need a yo. Well, I don't want to throw off the conversation, but the number 1 recruit is from Michigan, and the rumor is that Michigan is going to give him a $10 million NIL deal. So,
and in football,
yep, Bryce Underwood, number 1 player in the country, is committed to LSU. They said they're going to give him $10 million over in NIL.
They're setting these kids up for failure after college. That's a whole nother conversation. That might be the most money. Dude, the thing about football that drives me crazy, these kids could be ranked the number 1 recruit in their class, and then they go to college for 3 years, which is so long, and you don't hear about some of them you don't hear about some of them ever again, right? And these kids making so much money when they're in college off their name, image, and likeness, then they're done with college, and nobody cares about them anymore. Hey, that's a dive I don't want to ever have to deal with.
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, that's a nose dive. But Johnny Manziel still makes money off his name, image, and likeness. So good for him.
Crazy.
At least he made it to the league too. But I get nervous for these kids though because you can't handle all that stuff. You can't process it like that. No. All right, time to have a serious talk. Okay, D2 versus D3. Okay, everybody saw the score. D2 national champion Adelphi beat D3 national champion Salisbury in a scrimmage. Now, is D2 better than D3 now?
One of us played D2, so I'll let you answer that question.
Good lacrosse is good lacrosse. Okay. It doesn't matter what division you're playing in, because ACC midfielders are going to be bigger than, D3, D2 midfielders, no question. But for the most part, the game doesn't change dramatically The game, the goal is still the same size. You're not doing like in basketball. You get from D3 to D1. The D1 guys are much bigger. They're much taller. They're able to defend better because of that. They can cover more ground. All of that. Football, the players are dramatically bigger from D3 football to D1 football. Dramatically bigger, dramatically faster. I don't know that the difference between Division 3, Division 2, Division 1 in terms of size and speed is dramatic. I don't think it's as dramatic as people think it is. I mean, here's the problem. Here's the thing people don't understand about D2 lacrosse compared to D1 lacrosse. It doesn't matter where you go. Your job when you play in college is to be a good lacrosse player and to go to school. You're going to go to practice for almost 40 hours a week at the Division 1 level and maybe 32 to 35 hours a week at the Division 2 level. And then that number drops again for Division 3 with captain's practices and like kind of unofficial, non-mandatory practices, quote unquote. So the more you practice, the more you play, the more you practice, you're going to get better at lacrosse. So good lacrosse is going to be able to beat good lacrosse. But now we're talking about top 10 teams in each division. Like, do I think Adelphi could beat Notre Dame? No. But when you're talking about Division 2, Division 3, top 10 teams, they're run like any other top lacrosse program in the nation. They have the materials, they have the staffing, they have everything, the resources, they have everything. So is D2 better than D3? Depends on the day, depends on the opponent, and depends on the year. Like it overall is a blanket statement. I think there's a lot of Division 3 schools that could beat Division 1 schools. Overall is a blanket statement. There are a lot of Division 2 schools that could beat Division 1 schools. As a blanket statement, there's a lot of Division 3 schools that could beat Division 2 schools. There's a lot of Division 2 schools that suck. There's a lot of D3 schools that suck. There's a lot of Division 1 schools that suck. They're all good lacrosse is good lacrosse, and it all comes down to matchups. It all comes down to matchups.
I think bottom D1 schools don't suck like bottom D2 or D3 schools, though. Suck is like
no. No. I don't agree.
Bro, what? Yo, have you seen some of these D3 bottom tier D3 teams?
I have not seen it bottom tier D3 teams.
And
no.
Like bottom, I'm sure there are some bottom tier D2 teams. Bro,
for sure.
The worst D1 team, with all due respect, is probably Hampton right now. And they would stomp on these teams. Stomp on them. So when you say like they bottom D1 teams suck, I can't really say they suck. Like their suck is relative to D1, but they don't all have the same suck.
Okay. So you think the same suck. So obviously, well, I mean, we have them separated by divisions for a reason, right? But we're not talking about the bottom tiers of all divisions, right? Like you're still a good enough player to go and play D1, even if it's bottom tier, if it's Wagner or UMass Lowell. Okay. Those two teams are low and have been for years. Is that could you compare that to a bottom tier D2 team? No, because bottom tier D2 teams don't have half of the funding that even a bottom tier Division 1 team will have.
I was just trying to clear it up that the suck isn't the same. I think the suck on D2 and D3 is more
is more suck. That's way more suck.
Way more similar than the bottom tier D1. Now, let me pose it like this. Who has a stronger top 10? Is it D2 or D3?
Oh,
D2, D3.
Yeah, I would say
I think
D3.
D3 has a stronger top 10, but I think D2's top five, the top five schools of a D2 team, like, and I don't just mean a team that's like, okay, we're beating everybody because everyone sucks this year. I mean like good parity. There's a good Division two team. I think a good top five D2 team is relatively equal with a top five D3 team. Top 10, the bottom five of a top 10 D2 team kind of gets a little sketchy, a little iffy.
I hate this conversation. This is my theory that I think college lacrosse should do. Okay. There should be a relegation system
and promotion. I love that.
So what that means is the bottom D1 teams, let's say the bottom 10 D1 teams, move down to D2. The top 10 D2 teams move up to D1, right? And the top 10 D3 teams move up, right? And that's just the order it goes. I hate this conversation, right? Because it's all in theory. So it's tough to like actually come to a ending with this. But if there was a relegation system here, bro, it would be a different landscape of the NCAA.
For sure.
Because I'm with you. I don't think I hate that conversation too, because it's like get in where you fit in. And I know we're about to finish up. I don't think you need to do a relegation system. Do like when you have like the old heads like on Twitter and they're talking about lacrosse like in the 80s and like the early 90s. It's scheduled teams in your area where RIT play Syracuse, Adelphi play Hofstra, Lenore Rhyme play North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like where it doesn't where because it's like and I say that because Syracuse playing like RIT or tough, let's just say. So like East, I'm just talking to the top two East Coast Division three teams. They play Syracuse. RIT can drive an hour down the thruway and play Syracuse. That you're getting more out of that than playing the worst than playing a bottom tier Division one team. So it's just like just do that, right? Because like if you lose, people might talk smack or whatever, but it's you're getting the competition and you're getting it in because like I'm with you because the relegation would be cool, but it's just like just budgeting and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas like it just wouldn't be a thing. But yeah, just to do it that way because I'm with you. I hate that which D2 better, D3 better. It's like everybody said the top of the top. You're good. You're a good lacrosse player whether you're playing number one for Division one, Division two, Division three. If you're good, you're good, and they'll find you.
You know what would be even cooler, though? This is me just being me. It would be dope. In New Jersey, they do something called the Tournament of Champions.
Mhm.
So each state champion plays against each other. So
Yeah.
it would be like cool if like you saw like D1 national champions play against maybe like even the club national champs, and then D2 plays against the D3 champs, and then the winners of both of those games play against each other, and then who's the world champ or who's the that would
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would be a
No,
pretty
that'd be fantastic. That'd be a really good idea. I think results might be a lot different than you think, than most people would imagine. I don't think that, it would be a Mickey Mouse championship for Division one teams to just come in here and, be able to play another really well structured team from another, like, I mean, I assert that a top three club team could probably beat a lot of Division three, Division two teams as well. Right. Like, and theoretically, my opinion is that they should be able to because they have like a dramatically higher number of people to choose from. A lot of those people, like if you look at South Carolina, some of those kids probably could have gone to Division one, but they wanted to be a frat star and, hang out. But they had the skill level, they had the athleticism, they had all of these things to play Division one. And they have a coach that's solid, and they show up to all these practices. But is it going to be the same as like? I mean, you've played some men's league. Like even for me, you can always tell a kid that played club lacrosse. Like you can always look at a kid and go, oh, okay, like you played MCLA. Just that there's certain things, certain skill sets that you just develop by having a stick, like being forced to have a stick in your hand for 40 hours a week. Like you're going to develop a little differently than a kid has to go to practice 3 times a week, and you could just see it.
well.
So
since I coach a club team, I'll just keep this quick. Um, what you see is the freshmen are the best players in club, or often you see that the freshmen are the best players because they're fresh from that routine of practicing every single day. And
Right.
then as they age, that's when they start to lose it. They start to like, lacrosse isn't a priority anymore. It's hanging out,
Right.
doing your thing. So yeah, I think you do see a whole range of it. But we'll end it on that. Okay. Another day, another dollar with my boys, Brian and Shane. Hey guys, make sure you share this with somebody who you think you can beat in a one-on-one. So that's why I'm sharing it with Shane later. Um, you guys keep on being loyal. I appreciate you guys
Oh,
so much. We appreciate you guys so much. Make sure to interact with our stuff. We'll catch you guys later on Stick Talk. Peace out.
is Scotty okay?